Alright, you guys, it's time to talk about the Best Actor race and how Wagner Moura can potentially pull off a shocker victory. Hey, it's Brian. Welcome to the awards contender. What do we think about Best Actor right now? It is pure chaos. We have had different winners, like at the Globes, and then at BAFTA, and then at SAG, and it's like, what is going to happen on March 15th with Best Actor? It's not entirely clear. Many of us are thinking Timothée Chalamet can still win. Michael B. Jordan has a very good chance now after winning at SAG. But what about Wagner Moura? I do consider him the dark horse here. I think he can do the near impossible in a way, overtake both Jordan and Chalamet and win the Academy Award for Best Actor. Am I going to predict it? I mean, that's a different story, right? There is, of course, one big flaw against Wagner Moura, and that he wasn't even nominated at BAFTA or SAG. That is tricky. As we saw a year ago with Fernanda Torres, also from a Brazil film, I'm Still Here, who wins at the Golden Globes, gets the Oscar nomination, but is not at BAFTA or SAG. That is really, really tough to overcome. Wagner Moura is in the same position, really. So it's like, well, if Fernanda Torres couldn't pull it off, why would Wagner Moura? I just think there's something in the air right now, especially because of that BAFTA win for Robert Aramayo. Someone who's not even nominated at the Oscars won at BAFTA. It's not clear cut. It's not just two people, I think, this year. There is a third person waiting in the wings. You know, in the dark a little bit, in the background, who's been kind of quiet the last few weeks, not being nominated at BAFTA or SAG. Who could win? Who could do it? And I have 10 reasons. The 10 reasons why Wagner Moura and The Secret Agent just might win at the Academy Awards. Reason number 1 is the strength of the film The Secret Agent and his brilliant restrained performance. This film has been talked about a lot the last few months, right? Ever since its premiere at the Cannes Film Festival last May, people have been loving this movie. It has such a compelling narrative, such a beautiful and particular sense of place, both in its setting and its time period. You have that excellent ensemble cast, so many great people in that movie, especially Wagner Moura in the lead role, playing Armando, a former technology professor who's hiding in 1977 Brazil during a military dictatorship. He is being pursued by corrupt officials. He works in this bureaucratic office. He's always kind of looking over his shoulder. He knows he's in trouble.
Mas esse cara... Eu matava ele com martelo.
He's trying to protect his son, he's trying to protect himself, and in a film that has many flashbacks to his character, like where he was earlier on, where he is now, and what ultimately happens to him by the end of this narrative, it's just such a rich performance in a beautifully realized film that goes on for almost 3 hours and you can't look away. Everything about The Secret Agent is so compelling, so well done, from the cast and the crew. Everybody involved with this movie did a stellar job, and at the heart of this film is the Wagner Moura performance, which you can't stop thinking about long after you've seen The Secret Agent. Reason number 2 is that Wagner Moura plays more than one character in The Secret Agent, including his own in flashback. You get different senses of this guy. His physical look changes throughout the movie. He's not just playing one guy at one time. We follow this person from beginning to end. The movie also gives us flashbacks where he's got facial hair, he carries himself differently, how he treats the people around him. Like, he's very different in his acting in those flashback scenes, especially at that restaurant where he lashes out at that guy. That's a very different style of acting from Wagner Moura in those flashback scenes versus how he plays the character when he's a little older and wiser and knows he's in trouble. There is a restraint to his performance that makes him stand out in the Best Actor crowd this year at the Oscars. His style of acting in The Secret Agent is different than the other 4, I think. It's not as showy. It's not as in your face from moment to moment, all of the different tricks that some of these guys are doing. This is a more grounded performance, but it's still very impressive in terms of everything he has to play in this, in the flashbacks, in the more current scenes. And then, spoiler alerts, if you haven't seen the movie, I will spoil something at the end here. So go forward like 30-40 seconds. He also plays the adult version of his character's son. It's like one extended sequence, but the way he plays the son is so very different from how he plays his father. That's also striking too. He's also playing another person at the end, and he is great. Like, you really buy that is his son. So that's an element to his performance I also think is extraordinary. Reason number 3 Wagner Moura can win the Oscar for Best Actor is that his film did very well on Oscar nominations morning. It did even better than I'm Still Here a year ago. Now, Best Casting wasn't available a year ago. Maybe it could have been nominated for that. But The Secret Agent, it gets into Best Casting at the Oscars. It gets into International Feature, which was a must. The biggest thing, of course, is that it got into Best Picture. It got a Best Picture nomination, which is key. If The Secret Agent wasn't in Best Picture, I don't think he could win Best Actor. I think it needed that picture nomination, absolutely, 100%. It happened. And remember, at the Oscars this year, everybody has to watch every nomination in a category to vote. So if you're an Academy member and you're voting for Best Picture, which I'm assuming most of them will be, they have to watch The Secret Agent, so they will all have seen Wagner Moura's performance. This is essential to him potentially winning. Him being the dark horse and overtaking Chalamet and Jordan at the end of the day. That's why I think it's possible everybody will be watching The Secret Agent, and I do think if there's one thing you really love about that movie, it's the Wagner Moura performance. If you want to reward it, it's not going to be in Best Picture. It can't win that. You can give it your vote in Best Actor. And maybe in a crowded field where there have been surprises along the way, maybe he could pull it off. Another thing that would definitely help his chances to win Best Actor is if The Secret Agent takes International Feature. It wins that. It's not going to be easy. Sentimental Value is in that category. It won the BAFTA award for Best Film Not in the English Language. Sentimental Value at the Oscars is in Picture and Director, 4 acting categories. It's in Screenplay, it's in Editing. So on paper, Sentimental Value just makes more sense to win Best International Feature over The Secret Agent. But because The Secret Agent has won International Feature at a few places, like Critics' Choice, like Golden Globes, it's been competitive there, it's won stuff. There's a lot of passion for The Secret Agent that there doesn't seem to be right now for Sentimental Value. I don't know how you're feeling. So I think The Secret Agent can do it. It's possible. And if earlier in the ceremony, The Secret Agent takes International Feature over Sentimental Value, I will have my eye on Best Actor. If The Secret Agent can pull that off, that will be huge. You could point to I'm Still Here winning International Feature a year ago and say, well, Brian, that took that category, but Fernanda Torres didn't win Actress. I think by Oscars night, I'm Still Here just made sense to win International Feature. Emilia Perez was crumbling, right, for weeks. Despite its 13 nominations, it was taking a huge nosedive, and it made sense to me I'm Still Here could win International Feature. The Secret Agent doesn't have an Emilia Perez against it. Sentimental Value is very well liked. Nobody hates that movie. Nobody is looking at Sentimental Value as if it's the next Emilia Perez. That's why at this moment, I don't quite believe The Secret Agent can pull it off, but if it does, earlier in the ceremony, Best Actor could go to Wagner Moura. Reason number 4 is that Wagner Moura won 3 critical Best Actor prizes. He took Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival, he took Best Actor from the New York Film Critics, and he won Best Actor in a Motion Picture Drama at the Golden Globe Awards. So yeah, he's not nominated for BAFTA or SAG, and that's tough. That is a tough place to be in. It's very, very difficult to win an Oscar if you're not even nominated at BAFTA or SAG. I mean, going back the last decade, Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk, She's kind of the main example of someone who wins 2 big prizes earlier in the season. She's not nominated at BAFTA or SAG, and then she wins the Oscar. Could Wagner Moura be the next Regina King? It's possible, right? But it's not like Wagner Moura has won nothing. Like, I still see people predicting Leonardo DiCaprio is gonna pull it off in Best Actor for One Battle After Another due to the strength of his film, and I'm like, what? How can you possibly think that at this point? I know he's getting nominated everywhere, and that's something, and One Battle After Another is in the top 2 films of the year, so I get it. But like, Wagner Moura has a better chance of winning the Oscar than DiCaprio and Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. Ethan Hawke had to win something this season, I think. Like at the televised ceremonies from Critics' Choice to Golden Globes, BAFTA, SAG, he had to take something there. Wagner Moura has. He won the Golden Globe. He beat Michael B. Jordan at the Globes and gave a wonderful speech. The Secret Agent won Best International Feature there. So I think Wagner Moura's Globes win was critical. If he hadn't won that, let's say Michael B. Jordan had beaten Moura there, then I don't think I could make this video right now. I couldn't suggest Wagner Moura has a shot at the Oscar win. It would have been a delightful surprise, him just getting the nomination, but that would have been the victory. But his Golden Globe win and giving that amazing speech, that is something. It's not nothing. He just needed that win, that moment on the stage to be competitive. And then going beyond the Globes, he won Best Actor at New York Film Critics. That's a big critics win of the season. That was important. And he won Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival. The movie also won Director. So The Secret Agent did very well at Cannes. It had this incredible reception. And I think Best Actor wins at Cannes, New York Film Critics, and the Golden Globes. You can point to those 3 victories and say, well, maybe Moura has a shot at the Oscar win. Reason number 5 is the large international voting body with the Academy, including many members from Brazil. This is a key reason why Wagner Moura could pull it out, could surprise all of us, is the international voting body within the Academy. It is growing every year. There's a reason BAFTA wins often correlate to Oscar wins, especially the last couple years. Usually you can look to BAFTA and say, okay, that won Best Picture or that won Best Actress or Supporting Actor or whatever it is, and say, it's probably going to win the Oscar as well. Now you might say, Brian, he wasn't even nominated at BAFTA, and yes, that's not great. You know, if he had been nominated at BAFTA, Wagner Moura, and he lost, if he had lost to Timothée Chalamet or Robert Aramayo, you could point to that and say, well, how can he win the Oscar if he can't win at BAFTA? He's not nominated in Best Actor. He wasn't even on the BAFTA long list. So you have to ask yourself, did enough BAFTA voters even see The Secret Agent? Like, you can't tell me everybody watched The Secret Agent and said, he's not even worth putting on the long list. That makes no sense to me. He is incredible in this movie for almost 3 hours. There is something fishy there. I don't know what quite went down. He should have at least made the long list, if not the final 6 for Best Actor at BAFTA. But he's not there, he's not at SAG, so in terms of other people beating him in a televised category, the only one you can turn to is Critics' Choice. He was nominated at Critics' Choice, Fernando Torres was not a year ago. He lost that to Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, but the Critics' Choice Awards don't hold very much weight, right? It was obvious Timothée Chalamet was going to win that. It didn't seem like Moura could do it. I was happy he was nominated there. But then we get to the Globes, and the category he's in, he wins. That's an international voting body. They love The Secret Agent and Wagner Moura for Best Actor. We get to the Oscars. It's another big international voting body with a lot of members from Brazil. They might bypass Timothée Chalamet and Michael B. Jordan, give their vote to Wagner Moura. Reason number 6 is the fragmented Best Actor race. If Timothée Chalamet had won at BAFTA, I'm not sure I would have made this video, because if Chalamet had taken Critics' Choice and Golden Globes and BAFTA, he would make sense to win the Oscar. His movie Marty Supreme is in picture and director and screenplay, a bunch of categories. Timothée Chalamet was just nominated a year ago for Best Actor. He lost at the Oscars. On paper, he kind of makes sense to win the Academy Award for Best Actor this time around, but he didn't win at BAFTA. He lost to Robert Aramayo for I Swear, which was a huge shocker, especially for Aramayo, who was like, what? Like, you're giving it to me? Okay. So Chalamet didn't win that, and then we get to SAG a few nights ago. Michael B. Jordan wins for Sinners over Chalamet. So this is a very fragmented Best Actor race. It's even more chaotic than a year ago in Best Actress when Demi Moore won at Critics' Choice. At Golden Globes, it was Moore and Fernanda Torres, remember that. And then at BAFTA, the prize for Best Actress went to Mikey Madison for Anora, and then at SAG, they chose Demi Moore. That was also kind of a chaotic race, but this one's even more so because of that BAFTA win for Aramayo. Because of that, I'm like, man, almost every ceremony someone new is winning, right? The only person who has won 2 televised awards is Chalamet, Critics' Choice, and Golden Globes. That's it. Basically, it has been someone new at every televised ceremony, and that's why deep in my heart, I think because of this chaos, because of someone new everywhere, and going into these final days before the Oscars, and we're all thinking about maybe it's Chalamet, maybe it's Jordan, maybe it's Wagner Moura, guys. Maybe he does it because of that BAFTA win for Aramayo especially. It's like BAFTA voters pushed against anybody who's nominated at the Oscars in that category. They were like, we don't want to vote for Chalamet or Jordan or any of these guys. Wagner Moura isn't here. We loved I Swear and Robert Aramayo's performance. We're going to give the prize to him, even though he's not even nominated at the Oscars. And there is a lot of crossover between BAFTA voters and Academy voters. So that's where I'm like, maybe. like maybe that BAFTA win for Aramayo is telling us something. Maybe at the Oscars, it is going to be Wagner Moura. Reason number 7 is that Wagner Moura is the acting veteran in the category who can actually win. DiCaprio and Hawke are also older, but they're not winning the Oscar. That is not happening. If someone older can win, it's going to be Moura. And sometimes that does give you a little bit of a boost. In Best Actor especially, the Academy does not like to reward younger people. Best Actress is another story, that's fine. Jennifer Lawrence, Mikey Madison, they will give a prize to someone who's younger. But in Best Actor, that is trickier. We have seen that year after year. Sometimes when you're younger, it's hard to win. Timothée Chalamet is 30 years old, Michael B. Jordan just turned 39 years old, and Wagner Moura is close to 50. He's currently 49 years old. Wagner Moura has had a longer career than Michael B. Jordan and Timothée Chalamet. He's been around longer. He's an international figure, so it's not like American audiences, Academy members will be as familiar with his work maybe than Chalamet and Jordan. There is that. But especially the international voting body of the Academy, they will have more of a familiarity, I think, with Moura than they do Jordan and Chalamet. So I do think the acting veteran of it all also helps Moura's chances in a way, makes him the clear third place, if not second, or first, ultimately. Reason number 8 Moura can win the Oscar is that even though he wasn't nominated at BAFTA or SAG, he is everywhere. He is showing up to almost every ceremony. He's holding screenings of The Secret Agent. He is making appearances at DGA and PGA. He's not sitting in a basement just like hoping he wins the Oscar. He is out there. He is campaigning. He is showing up. I see a new picture of him almost every day. He's at this screening. He's at this event. He is working it. He is making the rounds, getting his name out there, talking about The Secret Agent wherever he can. So even though he's not nominated at BAFTA or SAG, he's still very visible. We have been seeing him everywhere the last few weeks. So I do think that is important too. He is campaigning hard for this. He is not just hoping and praying it happens. He is making an attempt to win this Oscar. So I think that plays a role as well. Reason number 9 would be the historic nature of his win. Wagner Moura would be the first Brazilian ever in history to win an Oscar for acting. Fernando Torres had a shot a year ago, but it didn't happen. Now there is a chance he can pull it off, become the first Brazilian person in history to win an Academy Award for acting, and that would be a moment. Now I don't know if Academy members are thinking that way. When they're voting in Best Actor, they're probably just going to vote for the performance they like the best, right? They're going to look at those 5 and say, I really love Chalamet, he gets my votes, or I really love Jordan playing twin roles, he gets my votes. They're not necessarily going to look at Wagner Moura and say, well, I really liked his performance, maybe he's not my favorite, but I'm going to give him my vote because of the historic nature of his win, because he'd be the first Brazilian person to win in acting. I don't think they think that way, but it does play a small role, I think. The first person from a country to ever win an Oscar for acting, that would be a moment. That would be amazing. And so I do think, especially because Fernando Torres got semi-close a year ago, now maybe Wagner Moura can finish what Torres started and win an Oscar finally for acting, somebody from Brazil. And reason number 10, the 10th and final reason I think Wagner Moura can pull it off, can be the dark horse in this category and potentially win the Oscar for Best Actor on March 15th. The 10th reason is the passion for his performance in the film. You look to some of these movies, even some that are nominated in Best Picture, and they're well liked enough, Marty Supreme and Sentimental Value, and some of these movies that got a lot of nominations, and they're well liked. And that's great and all, but there is absolutely passion for The Secret Agent, and especially Wagner Moura's performance. You see it online, you see it everywhere, from voters, from critics, from audience members. People love this movie, and they love Wagner Moura in it. So I do think the level of passion for The Secret Agent and Wagner Moura plays a role here. There can't just be, shrug, he's good in it. He's fine, but, he's my number 3 or my number 4. Wagner Moura can't win the Best Actor Oscar if he's just, hovering around 3rd place. There has to be a level of enthusiasm and passion for his performance and a vote to get him to a win. I think it's there, you guys. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility Wagner Moura will pull it off. Now the question is, am I personally predicting it? That's a whole other story. I mean, as of this moment, I can't predict Wagner Moura. I can't do it like myself. I'm going to think about this over the next few days. About a week from now, I will give you my very final predictions in all 24 categories. Maybe I will do one final giant no guts, no glory prediction in Best Actor for Wagner Moura. It is on the table right now. I have to think about it. I mean, it would be a wild prediction to make because Timothée Chalamet is still very strong. His movie is in a ton of categories at the Oscars. Even though he's 30, there is this slight overdue narrative to Chalamet, especially with him getting nominated in Best Actor for A Complete Unknown a year ago. It could just be Chalamet on March 15th. And there's also a ton of enthusiasm for Michael B. Jordan and Sinners. Sinners could maybe win Best Picture. And if that's the case, Michael B. Jordan, with his SAG win, with his amazing speech, the eruption of applause in the room, Michael B. Jordan also makes more sense. In terms of nominations, 16, an all-time record, and especially because Sinners is going to win a few things, at least 4 or 5 Oscars, if not more, it makes more sense in a way to predict Michael B. Jordan to win the Oscar for Best Actor than Wagner Moura, whose movie only has 4 nominations. It's not winning casting, it's not winning picture. It could maybe win international feature, maybe. And then you have Best Actor. When you think about it real hard, it doesn't make much sense. Like, how could Wagner Moura overtake Michael B. Jordan along with Timothée Chalamet? It seems like he's easily in 3rd place. He's above DiCaprio and Hawke. But he might, like Fernando Torres a year ago, just stay in 3rd place and have no real shot to win the Oscar. But because of all 10 of these reasons I've talked about throughout this video, I think it's possible. I'm not saying Wagner Moura is winning the Oscar for Best Actor. I'm saying he can. I'm saying there is this small chance, due to all 10 of these reasons I talked about throughout this video, we can have a shocker Oscar victory for the ages. I mean, just imagine, you guys, imagine it. They open the envelope for Best Actor and say, Wagner Moura. That is going to be a moment. That will bring the house down if Wagner Moura wins the Oscar for Best Actor for his remarkable, extraordinary performance in The Secret Agent. That is going to be the #1 moment of the night.